Hello, welcome back. First of all, a little bit of an apology. Several viewers have asked for an update on what kit I took and any tips that I had for the actual Cape RAB trail. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I've tried to do it 3 times now. Now, as everybody's aware, it's rather warm at the minute, and down in Dorset it's really warm. And twice I've been out already and it has been way too long. Cameras have overheated, batteries have literally went 4 batteries in an hour, gone. It's been too warm to do it. Today it's overcast a bit and it's about 23 degrees. There's a bit of thunder going on there that I can hear, but all in all, way better conditions to just run through what was in my rucksack. So I'll find a wee place to stop, and I'll just run through what I had in my bag, what I took and what I wouldn't take again, or what I've changed, or some of the stuff I've already changed. And as you can see, the issues that I had, if you watch the videos you'll know what they were. So I'll find somewhere to stop, we'll get set up and we'll just run through the kit that I took on the Cape RAB trail. Right, so the backpack that I took here was the old Osprey Rook 65 litre, and I added to that a little Osprey chest rig that you can pick up, and I used that for keeping my camera stuff in, my phone, maps, and I kept them all in a dry bag because it's not waterproof. The toggles that actually come with it, I got these stitched back on, and these actually clip on here so you can remove it if need be. I've used the same clips that came with it to detach it, so you just detach it, drop it off here. If you don't need it, or you want to take your Bergen rucksack off. On the side I had my walking poles here. On the other side was the poles for my old MSR, and on the back I also wove some more adjustable elastic in, just to hold the old fleece and waterproof jacket. And down and below there, like every pack that you get, you have the green waterproof cover that you've probably seen with before. So water bottles wise, I also had on here these little water bottle carriers. I had 2 of them, 1 on each side. I just adapted them for the front of the pack. This one here had my Katadyn filter, and I used that obviously to fill up, and then I'd fill this plastic bottle here just up with the fresh water. I also carried a couple of these just to top up the water, because sometimes it does taste a little bit peaty. And that's it. Yeah, not a bad pack. Yeah, that's where I kept my old maps that were in there when I needed them. They were tucked in the back. My overall weight for the actual pack for the trip with 9 days food was 22 kilograms all in. Now, some of you may think it was a wee bit excessive, but with the camera gear, batteries, etc., and the planning that I sort of have done, with the stuff I've learned, actually I could probably do the whole thing again with a backpack of about 16 kilograms. But 22 kilograms is within, funnily enough, my 20% of my body weight, which is what they judge it by. So 22 kilograms was me. I didn't find it too heavy. The 9 days rations, yet you can cut them massively down if you get places you can send and pick up your rations. I decided to pick my stuff up at Uppbeat because it's that time of year, while I was doing the trail, you couldn't guarantee the places weren't open. And I found out when I went to Shield Bridge, when I went to the campsite, that was all booked in online. didn't see a soul in there, so if I did send my stuff there to get picked up after 5 days, 4 days, I would have missed it. So yeah, that's what I decided on. It was just hedging my bets with a lot of videos that I watched before, people doing the Cape Wrath where shops were unfortunately closed, so they couldn't pick their food up. To the top of the actual rucksack, I'd have my trusty toilet trowel. Carried 2 packs of wet wipes. I had my Peter Storm men's trousers, backpack trousers. Now these waterproof trousers, I'm not going to lie to you, but absolutely brilliant. Possibly the best thing I actually took on the trail itself. When you look at these, I think I paid £15 for them. This is my second pair. I managed to order a set online. I think they're up to £14 and now they've shot up to £45. I got these delivered through, I think it was Blacks. Yeah, these were another, I think £14. Absolutely fantastic. No issue with these. Best thing that I took on there for value for money. Amazing. Also on the top here, I would carry, on the top here I have the outer for the MSR. Obviously it's in a Lanshan bag because that's a really good bag for squeezing stuff down in. I'm not going to take it out and set it up, but yeah, that's what I'd have on the top, because that's the first thing I take out would be that and the poles, just to get the outer tent up. Obviously the quick at hand stuff and the toiletries and the waterproof trousers. Next thing I have in here, and when you open it up, is my electronic stuff. So I'd have the drone, spare batteries that I needed, and I kept that. Inside on it again, a waterproof bag I carried. So in here we had the old drone, the old DJI Mini. This is the one that's light enough that you don't actually need a license to fly. This is obviously, for all you who's watched it, this is Droney McDroneface Mark II, because Mark 1 didn't make it. He's at the bottom of one of the locks. So there was a drone with one battery in there. Inside the pack we had, and here's the drone controller itself. In here we had ND filters for the GoPro and ND filters for the drone. On the back of here we had batteries for the drones. For the drone, on the back here we had batteries. We had 3 drone batteries, 3 Sony batteries and 4 GoPro batteries. And on top of that I had my cables for charging, and I had not 2 charge packs, I had 3 charge packs. Now on the back of your batteries you'll see a number on there, it'll be 7,000, 10,000 or whatever. On these were 20,000, I think it's 20,000. You divide that with what the battery is and that'll tell you how many battery charges you'll get out of each one of these. So I worked it out that I could do 9 drone flights on the way, and I can charge the GoPro batteries twice, and with the other one I could charge my phone and charge the Sony twice if required. And I used all 3 of these all the way through. I didn't change them. I stopped once to charge one up at Kinlochhew, but the rest of the way I actually used, the last one was nearly still fully charged right at the end to charge other people's equipment just before we finished. And obviously in there a little charging plug if you need it. Yeah, so that's everything that I had in the electronics bag. Next thing, food. Right, so that's basically a day's rations for me. No, sorry, that isn't a day's rations. I would either have the old fire pots in it, the adventure foods, and I would sparingly have the real Turmat meals, which I believe for me is the best meals out of the bunch, but really expensive. So if you look at that, that's there about, chicken tikka masala is about $11.99 now for the meal. These are still between £5 and £6 depending on the mini you buy, or if you go outdoors etc, you can get them a lot cheaper. So real Turmat, absolutely fantastic. That chicken tikka masala was amazing. These are just what they are, they're just dried meals, but price wise, yeah, these are cheaper. And the thing is, 578 calories, 600 calories, and I think this one's 600 calories as well. So you get more calories out of these than you do with those, but these taste absolutely amazing. I got these off of one of those prepper shops. I think it's preppers.co.uk. It's your old military isotonic drinks. I took tons of these. I ended up giving them to a lot of people on the way that were feeling a bit low in energy. Absolutely fantastic. They cost buttons on there. Great delivery service. You get it next day over a certain amount to spend, and you can pick up old military rations if that's what you're into. I would carry 2 porridges for the morning, and the way I'd have my porridge, I would have a coffee inside with the porridge. I know it sounds really mank. I did have a Trekit bar, another coffee, had some tea for on the way for each one, and then the rest of it was sweets. Now I started off, I had a pepperami, and I think it was a pepperami and 2 sweets there. It was not enough for me, as I said in the video. I doubled that up. Excuse me, these are all melted because it's been really warm down here. I'd say I'd take 4 sweets a day just to get me over and get me through the little tough parts. I bought these things from the prepper place, absolutely disgusting. There were a lot of fig thing that just dried your mouth out, so they got binned at the first opportunity. Yeah, so that's daily what I took, not that, but all of this. Sorry, it was 1 meal, not 2 meals. So daily, that's basically a meal for a day that I would take. Porridge, the meal at the end of the evening, and snacks in between. Just a thing on the meal, at the end I started having my meal a bit before I stopped, because I found when you ate that and then tried to go to sleep, you couldn't. It just sort of kept you awake. You were, I don't know, the energy getting in, or the energy flying about your body, it took you a while to get to sleep. So when I started eating them round about tea time, where I should have been eating them, I managed to get better sleeps. So that's roughly a day's rations that I would take with it. In my rations, I would have the old spoon, the bag, and the striker for lighting it, for lighting the cooker. So that's all the food. So moving on to quite a controversial subject just now. As you know, if you watch the videos, my burner gave up the chase about 7 days into the actual journey. So I lost out, and I had one of these, an MSR Windburner. This is not mine, this is Sandra's. Absolutely fantastic. We worked out how much gas we would need. So I carried with me 2 of these for throughout the whole journey. And it was all going to plan, funnily enough. So the Windburner, very much the same as the jet oil, except for my one broke. Now, I'll show you what broke on it, so if anybody has the same issue, they'll GoPro out again. So the little hole above there has a thermostat in it, and if it's overworked, which I don't know how it overworked, it then pops up. And there is a reset that you can do for it by turning the gas regulator down and sticking one of the legs. You take the legs out and you stick it into, you get this handled right. So you stick the leg in there and turn it, and that should push it back down. Unfortunately that failed on mine, which made it obsolete. Now I thought there was a bit of grit or something getting into it, and Here it wasn't. It's a safety feature that shuts it off, and mine would not re-engage to allow me to use the burner itself. Right, so that was 7 days in, that failed. We're now over 2 months into the saga with MSR Windburner. Got in touch with MSR. MSR told me how to reset it. Explained to them that every time you put the canister back on, it would pop back up again. And I asked them what they intended to do it, and they told me to send it back to the people I bought it from, and then they would have to sort the warranty out on it. Now I've done that. I'm 2.5 months down the line. I'm not going to embarrass the people I bought it from, but I will put a link in the description of where I bought it from. I've asked them twice now for a refund, and there's been no communication whatsoever, so not impressed with that. Right guys, I'm just going to talk about what happened with the pocket rocket, with the Windburner. Right, so the Windburner broke. I went to Kinloch and I picked up a little burner, just a little one. It wasn't cheap, it was the last one I had. It was 60 quid, similar to this one, but as you can see, it's too far away from the cooking vessel, and it will not heat this up. So that's something to consider. These are great for the gas and the wind, etc., and the really quick cooking time, etc. But when that breaks, you can't use that either. The whole system's gone. So when I left Kinloch, obviously it was another day till I got to Ullapool, and I bought the old MSR pocket rocket, which is fantastic. So for me, I'm now going to stick to the pocket rocket and the cooking vessel here. So clothing wise, merino socks, had 3 pair of these. Had a little pair of night socks just when you touch your feet to put into. Took my pair of shorts. Right, my my buff that I took with us lasted a day and I lost it somewhere. Don't know where this is a replacement one. It's just another mid layer, the same as this, a dark one, a RAB one. Well, it's made by RAB. I thought really well, really good. Keeps the sweat off. I'll see if I can get the GoPro to pick it up. They've done something with the I don't know if you can see this, how shaped the inside of it is, the bobbly. So it keeps it off the skin. It feels really cool. It's a great idea. It was the blue one that I wore, and that one I wore when I was in and around campsites. It was great. Base layer, just the old quick dry nylon. Cheap tops. I think I've got the DeWalt one that I got out of B&Q, really good to dry really quickly. The black one I don't think I actually wore, so I probably took too many of them. That was my night shirt, just a cotton one, keep you warm when you're in the sleeping bag. I got a pair of these sealskin gloves. I think these are cycling ones. I find them really good for when you're in about the camp once you're finished. You can find its partner. That was a pair of long johns for when you're sleeping. Right, this is quite funnily enough, I absolutely screwed up. This will be my knee brace. I was having difficulties with my right knee, and I only took one with us, and it turns out I was having difficulties with both knees, so I would rotate this. So my next adventure I'll be taking 2, 1 for each knee. Right, underwear. Right, so you know pretty much of my dramas with the underwear, where it wasn't the underwear that was causing the issue. It was these Montane trousers. To be fair, it wasn't the trousers the way they were designed. It was probably me being a bit overweight when I started, and a wee bit of chafing and rubbing. So the underwear is merino wool. Expensive, but really good for underwear. I only use them for that reason. Another pair of merino socks. Right, so the merino socks, I started off with 3 pair, only finished with 2, and the other glove. I finished with 2 for the simple fact that they get some battering when you're walking that many miles. I mean, absolutely hammered. So there was a pair, every time you pulled them on, they ripped. And they just got that bad with being wet, then dry, wet, then dry, then really dry, then wet again, then dry. So I kept putting them on and washing the same pair out, and eventually it took its toll, so they didn't survive the 14 days. I could have rotated them a bit more, but I liked when I stopped to put fresh ones back on and then put the ones that I'm using all the time freshly washed back on. Right, what have we got next? Right, here we have, this will be my first aid kit, washing kit, etc. So I'll move this out the way and then we'll go through that. Right, so keep my first aid kit in a very yellow, glowing, identical bag. Talk about this first. That's zinc oxide tape. That's what I used to wrap my feet up with. I had a blister on my big toe, no blisters anywhere else, it was just my big toe. It just kept getting it for some bizarre reason, and I think that was the downward motion going down hills. I know Gary uses the Compede and stuff like that, and a lot of people use that, and it's absolutely fantastic. I have had no experience using it, so I just use zinc oxide. This little thing, absolute lifesaver, Smidge. It worked for me 100%. Had no issues with it. It kept them at bay. This little bag, I had your old cod liver oil, vitamin supplements, and the old Barocca tablets, which just gets you going in the morning. I would have one of them and the tablets keep us going. And here is my quota foot powder. I've got it in the bag because generally when you've got a bottle, you know, one, it takes up space. Secondly, when you're putting it on, you're just sprinkling everywhere. What I did with that is I'd open it up and actually dip my feet in at the front, and then take them out and wipe it all off, and then put keep the excess back in the bag there. And that lasted me the whole journey, and that was doing my feet every night. That was just a squeezy travel wash that I use for washing my socks most nights. Toothpaste, I've definitely got a toothbrush somewhere. In fact, no, I've retired the toothbrush, it is seen enough. Right, if you cannot hear that, we have got thunder coming inbound, so we'll get through this rather quickly. In here with dressings, a foil bag, one of those bags that you put on if you get hypothermia, but if you're struggling. Foil bag, tweezers for ticks, these little things for ticks. The tick needs to be quite big for those, so tweezers work for me. Steri wipes, Rennies, antihistamines. As you can see here, that's basically how many painkillers I took with my feet, because your feet gets really sore, and it worked fine. Yeah, a couple of bandages, elastoplast, and I said steri wipes. I probably didn't take enough steri wipes, and at the bottom there I've got super glue for any major cuts that you can seal up with the old super glue. And also to repair your tents or sleeping mats. And here it's just my night stuff, so when I stop I've got a hat and my fleece that I would use as soon as I stop, just if it was getting cold, just to stop it cooling down. But to be fair, on that trip didn't use it a lot. I did put the hat on, and to keep my head warm, swap that over for a nice dry hat, because either the one I had on was wet or sweaty. And that's just part of my night routine when I stopped. Chinook coming over. Next thing was, that's just the inner for the old MSR. Now, I had my Thermarest Neo Air, amazing, brilliant bit of kit. The only thing it let me down with is I got the mummy one, the mummy shaped one, and inside the tent, I would just slide off it. I spent more time waking up on the floor than I did on the thermarest. Now this one's a 6.9 rating. It is toasted, absolutely roasted. You know, that was one of the things I think I got wrong, but it was very hard to judge, is with the mat and the sleeping bag that I've got, it was literally too warm, way too warm. But I'm not going to regret taking it. What I've actually done is, that thermarest has actually been sold. It's gone off on eBay pretty shortly, and I've got this one here, which is a large one, which is square, to stop me from sliding off it. But yeah, I cannot sing highly enough about these things. These are the dogs. They do keep you warm just lying on them. You know, I found myself at times lying on this and just having the sleeping bag over my legs and just having a t-shirt on. They keep you well and truly insulated. Now, got this one because in November, me and Sandra are going up to do the Southern Upland Way, which is 214 miles. And we needed some better for that time of year, and we're doing it for charity. So yeah, we had to get something better that didn't slide off. Sandra's actually got herself a medium square one, so we can lock them both together in the tent so they're not all sliding about. We just found these mummy shaped ones. You just spent more time off them, but they're brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Keep you really warm, really well insulated. Sleeping bag was the RAB Neutron Pro 600. Right, this thing is, yeah, does exactly what it says in the tin. It is boiling. I had the option of taking a 200 that we got, and I had one cold night while I was up there when we woke up and there was frost, and I never even felt it because I was in this. Rest of the time I just draped this on me because it was just way too warm. Excellent sleeping bag. Really expensive sleeping bags, but managed to pick them up on a deal, and I think we paid just under £200 for it. And these are a down sleeping bag, absolutely fantastic. In fact, the only thing I think we paid full price for was the sleeping mats. Everything else we managed to get a discount on or get second hand, because it is at the moment quite an expensive hobby. Yeah, so that's that. Walking poles. Yeah, I've got these, and this is no word of a lie or an over exaggeration, were a lifesaver. I took a tumble coming down from Glenfinnan, down the hill from there, come back over past the gate. If everybody, you'll see it in the video, but I didn't get it in my video because I'd fallen over, I'd fallen over, and I was heading down a gully, but these literally stopped me going head first. The drop would have been about 9 feet, but they stopped me. They're bent. I struggle to get them out now. They're bent. I'll have an attempt to straighten them. I have got a spare one because I had a set before and I lost one, but I can't fault. I know people go for the carbon fibre and the lightweight ones. These ones here, the MSR ones, I can't fault them. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What else we got? Yeah, a little pad for sitting on, you know, one of these. Sandra was kind enough to waterproof them, so when you sit it down the water doesn't go through there. Great for just putting on your feet when you get out your boots before you get in the tent. Absolutely, or just, in fact, just for sitting on. What else we got? Yep, just the poles, and that's it, my friends. That's everything. Apart from the boots, I want to discuss the boots I wore on the actual trip. So bear with me a couple of seconds and I will get the boots that I want to discuss. Right, footwear. This is where it comes a bit difficult. Now, I took these Salomon Quests, the 4D ones, right? I've seen plenty of YouTubers sing their praises. Great boot, fantastic boot, etc, etc. Now I've got these Salomon ones on, which are the ones down from that. These are the shorter ankle ones. And I had no issues with them, and I've done tons of walk with these. I would say I've done more miles on those ones than these ones. And if it's the condition of the shoe, the boots itself, is what my concern was, especially on the soles. Right, so if you look at the soles on here, on these Salmons, that's what you're putting up with, guys. Yeah, so the Cape Wrath Trail, bear in mind I walked with these once before I did the trail. The condition of these boots after the walk, they're pretty well worn, they're in tatters. Where I think, and I'm no expert in footwear, I fall down, which caused a lot of issues for me, was this lip. So when you're coming down on something, on an edge, that just flips and you fall and you slide. They're not a straight edge. I've got Berghaus ones here that are straight edge, I've never had an issue. But this bit here, so you think you're being safe, you're coming down on a lip there and then you're off. And it's a bit of a jolt, but as you can see, the grip on them. Bearing in mind I only broke them in by wearing them to work while I was at work. This here is the condition of them. Not very good on the conditions of the trail. So that's a pair of boots, I think about £170 or something like that paid for these. And they're trashed, but just by doing the Cape Wrath Trail. But otherwise, yeah, they're really comfortable, really light in the feet. Even when they're wet, it doesn't take them long to dry. That's the plus side. The negative side is that the grip on here and the tread are a liability. The way they've designed that little lip at the back there is quite dangerous when you put your heel down. Yeah, so would I wear these again? No, I wouldn't. If we're going out walking, not a problem. Yeah, they're absolutely fine. As long as you're not climbing, scrambling, or going down any steep slopes, yeah, absolutely fine. But that's literally, I would say these have done about 260 miles. Yeah, I would say these have done about 260 miles, and I think they're done. Absolutely done. So, Salomon, if you're out there, if you want to if you want them back to you, check them out and find out what's failed in them. I'm going to tag them in on here. I might do a separate video on them actually, because yeah, it's quite a, give a bit of a demonstration on what I think's wrong with that heel. The way it curves up like that, you get on any lip and you're off. Yeah, so that's everything. That's what I took with us, that's what I carried, that's what I wore. You can see the experience I had on the actual walk. This kit worked for me. Some of it, yeah, as I said, I'll change it. It may work for you, just maybe I'm just rubbish at using it. Maybe just don't understand some of the bits and bobs that I've been doing wrong, etc. that's made it not work. But yeah, for me, I'm quite happy with my pack, I'm quite happy with the way it was all set up, and I'd use it again. Footwear, as I've said, is the only thing that would change, and the Thermarest sleeping mat I've changed already. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. I know some of you asked about my feelings after the trail. Yeah, they changed. They really changed after doing the trail itself. I don't think that there's a day goes by I don't think about it, to be honest. It's a great experience, absolutely great experience. Would I recommend it to everybody? It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It will not make or break you, but for me it was a great experience. I can't wait to get back up there and visit different areas, maybe do it again, do different routes, I don't know. But I'll definitely will be doing it again. Might do it in reverse. But that's another story. In the future, in November, we will be doing the Southern Upland Way. That's a coast to coast, 214 miles, and that's a marked route, as I say, so that'll be on roads, tracks and paths. Tough that about it, it's November, the weather conditions won't be fantastic, the light situation won't be fantastic, it'll put a bit of pressure on it, and the reason that we're doing it at that time and putting a bit of pressure on ourselves is that me and Sandra are going to be doing it for charity. The charity we're going to be doing it for is Shelter, so we're going to try and raise, between the two of us, £2,000 for the good people at Shelter. which we will talk about while we're on the trail, all the things they do. It's not all about homeless, it's about people losing their homes and what shelter does to rehome them and help them out and give them legal advice, etc. And obviously do help the people on the streets. So we will cover that in a bit more detail near the time. But yeah, that's our next move. We're going to be doing some training days, training weekends, where we'll be doing 40-mile loops, camping overnight, just getting ready for the equipment we've got. Now the weather's starting to turn a little bit and it's getting a bit cooler and we've got a bit more rain. To get Sandra used to doing the longer distances, because obviously I've just done quite a bit of longer distances, so we can do it together, get there together, do the tent setups and cooking and all that, and get a nice routine, so when we actually go to do the Southern Upland Way, it's quite a smooth smooth journey, as we say, but nothing ever goes to plan. Let's face it, keeping our trails taught me that, nothing ever goes to plan. So, as I say, thanks very much. Thank you for watching, thanks for the comments, thanks for the support that people give us, and I look forward to posting our next videos on our next little adventures. Thank you.